What trait automatically makes you think someone is stupid? People trying to win an argument by saying how smart they are. Or just because they have an inflated ego. I can't be wrong because it's me we're talking about. You're wrong proof. My IQ was measured at 205. It's called an appeal to authority and is a type of logical fallacy. Removed. Your IQ 206. You corrected him. Now you get to absorb his IQs and add them to your own. He did. That's how he got to 206. How much they talk versus how much they actually say. Tried to tell my boss that I can't read her mind, so the things she says to me have to be succinct, give all the information, and be accurate instead of telling me the same useless nonsense 3 times in a loop of insanity. She told me to stop telling her what she should do. I think we have the same boss. You poor soul. I'll spend plenty of time explaining a new, absolutely necessary, medication to a patient. Make sure to give them reliable resources so they can research it more if they want, etc. Everything's cool, right? Then their family member come out of the room 5 minutes later saying they don't want the patient taking it because my dad mom sibling Facebook friend had a terrible reaction to it, or well this anti-vax flat earth blogger says lavender oil will do the same thing without chemicals. My personal favorite is probably you just want to make money off of us, as if I personally benefit from starting someone on fricking warfarin. I was at a BBQ yesterday and was asked if a woman's foot swelling was a blood clot. I have some first aid training, which includes checking blood clots, and work in biopharmaceuticals for a while, so it made sense for me to check it out. So I checked for DVT and told her it was probably salt retention given her diet and advised seeing a doctor anyway. The lady's niece, who works at a hair salon and has not gone to college, told her it was toxins and she needs some oils, and specified, and an onion stuck to the bottom of her foot to fix it. The onion won out over my advice. Sounds like she'll be having a fun ER visit in a few weeks when that CHF gets bad enough she has trouble breathing. Hey hun. I got an oil for that. Mind if I PM you some info on my amazing team so you can join me on the road to an empire of success? People who aren't willing to admit when they're wrong or are fighting just for the sake of winning an argument. I consider those people to be lacking in wisdom more than intellect. It's a hard thing to do to push your ego out of the way, and certainly no one can do it at all times or in all situations. More than that though, an argument can be about something that there is no evidence for or based on memories that can be true to both people on different sides of the argument. The reason this is bad is it strains the relationship with those around you to not strain the relationship of you with yourself or the idea of yourself, and in that sense sometimes it can be better to not acknowledge others overvaluing the accuracy of your memory or way of thinking. Can't remember who said it, but I heard something along the lines of you will never be able to prove to someone truly invested in a religion with all their relationships with friends, family, and their spouse depending on their belief of the religion to see a fallacy strong enough to warrant a change in belief, as it would cost them everything they know and love to give in, and it is reasonable not to at that point. Various my opinion is as good as your facts type attitudes. Or similarly, those whose opinions are substitutes for thought rather than as results of thought. Various my opinion is as good as your facts type attitudes. Pretty much. Doesn't matter what debate it is or whether I agree with them or not. If they're spouting bullshit and saying it's as valid as hard evidence, I'm done with them. That's not to say debunking evidence can't happen. If a study's been retracted or proven to be faulty or something, that should be pointed out, but just saying that study doesn't count because I don't want it to doesn't count as that. There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Refusing to listen to the other side of the argument because they're so dead set in their beliefs and convinced they're right. They can't even comprehend that the other side could even have the remote possibility of being valid. AKA 2/3 of the teachers I've had over the years. There are some cases where blatantly refusing to listen, as a tool to invalidate beliefs, is good, obligatory MO. For instance, I refuse to listen to any of the beliefs held by neo-Nazis. Debate and rhetoric is largely just a recruiting tool for them. To give them space to vocalize their garbage ideals is to tolerate intolerance, and it doesn't work out. Every person on the far right or left in politics. Extremists in general. When people attach their sense of self to their arguments, you can't disagree with them without it being interpreted as a personal attack. It doesn't leave them any room to revise their arguments or adjust to new information. People who post daily on Facebook about removing negative people from their life. The weird thing about this one is that it's a healthy, mature, and usually difficult thing to remove toxic people from your life. But the people who are actually doing that are pretty much always doing it quietly because they are grown adults who don't have an appetite for drama. People who think they have superior taste because they dislike popular things. Then they insist they have no idea who someone is. Justin Bieber? Who's that? Never heard of him. Is he an athlete or something? Game of Thrones? Doesn't sound familiar. New game show? My brother has a friend like that. Justin Bieber? Never heard of him. But I don't like pop music. I wasn't talking music. How did you know he's a pop star, then? I'm too cool for this. Makes a mistake. Instead of taking the blame and acknowledging what they did wrong, they blame the people around them. Unironically using the word sheeple. When they have to have the last word on everything, no matter how wrong their reasoning may be. Standing in line for 10 minutes and not thinking about what they want to order until they get to the register. This is me. It's not because I can't choose, it's because my anxiety gives me a fight or flight response as soon as I make eye contact with the cashier. I can have it rehearsed in my head over and over, but as soon as I hear the cashier greeting me, my mind immediately wipes all traces of intelligence. I am a long-time soda drinker, and I have to do this sometimes because I go for Pepsi, and I notice just by looking at the spray whether something is off. So I will then taste it to make sure it's fine if it looks off. I will then try multiple things to make sure it's not just the one thing that's fricked. Then I tell the worker behind the counter that they need to reload the Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Coke etc. And it's the same thing with Coke. McDonald's objectively has the best Coke because they have a special deal with Coke to have the syrup carbonation levels set just right. No other place is allowed to have their system set the same way. So if I go to Burger King, their Coke doesn't taste as good. Or wherever else they serve Coke. Even drinking between a can of Coke and a 20-ounce bottle of Coke and a 2L bottle of Coke can get different flavors. Sorry, you are so unsophisticated that you will drink anything that comes out of the soda fountain, you uncultured swine. Is Pepsi okay? Indeed. Not normal religious people. I respect people that have an actual faith. The ones I think are stupid are the ones that will just get pissed at you, refuse to speak to you, or claim you're the reason things are bad simply because your religious beliefs don't equate to theirs. When someone disagrees with a good scientific study because it doesn't reflect their personal experience that they just thought about as you cited the evidence. Regarding my dating life, I avoid zodiac girls because they usually come off dumb as shit. Big ego. People who are on transmit 100% of the time. If you can't listen, you can't learn. People constantly telling you how to live, how amazing they are, how stupid you must be, how they know every answer to everything without listening to other points of view or other opinions. I switch off and check out mentally when those people are near. People who use long words that don't mean what they think they mean. For example, I'm inseminating from this. Stubbornness, determination is one thing, but being pig-headed and refusing to accept when you're wrong is one of the most telltale signs of weak-mind fool. People who believe clickbait sites on Facebook or other sites. Giant drawn-on eyebrows. When I told my wife she drew her eyebrow too high, she looked surprised. I told mine she drew them too low and she was furious with me. The power of crystals, manifesting, astrology, chakras. My wife is constantly nagging me about all the glowing crystals I scrounge up from a hole I made in the basement. She thinks that the crystals stink and make her sick, but I think just the opposite. She wants me to stop digging up the crystals. She wants me to smash the crystals, to stop the glow, get rid of the low hum that she seems to hear them make that I just don't hear at all. You want to know what I do here? Go. Those crystals calling out to me and begging to be dug up. She says she never even sees me anymore because I'm too busy down in that hole I made. She's crazy. They like water too, the crystals. Soaking them enhances their brilliance. My wife nags me about the tubs of water. There are no more bins for our stuff, she says. There's hardly room to walk around in the house anymore, she says. She says a lot of things that are wrong. I can't move around the house just fine. I pay for the water. I find the crystals. She does nothing but complain. These crystals will be all we ever need. I want her to be happy. She seems to not want to be happy. The more I dig up, the better I feel. Even with the worms and fungus of the deep, damp hole overtaking most of my basement, I feel better than I ever have. I feel awake. I feel light and strong. I feel fully. My wife complains though. She says she's sick. She says the crystals make her nauseous. That's nonsense. She just wishes she found the crystals. She actually feels better now than she ever could have before. She's deceitful like that. She's jealous. I caught my wife trying to throw out my glowing crystals. She thinks I don't know what she's doing. She thinks I'm oblivious when I'm in my hole digging. The fungus and worms don't dampen my senses, dear. The crystals have taught me how to listen and see. I let her think she gets away with it, then when she's asleep, pretending yet again to have the flu, I take the crystals out of the trash and place them back in their tubs. They sing to me. Their praises fill me with a fatherly pride. One day they'll look back on their silly, ignorant mother and laugh just as I'm laughing now. She refuses to come out of bed these days. Too sick, she says. Too loud, she says. I know the truth. She's up there with her makeup pretending to look pale. She's trying to fool me. Nothing can separate me from my children. I won't fall for this sort of trick. She vomits and acts weak. Give it up already. Let your jealousy go. She's committed to the act. I can appreciate that. She always was beautiful, clever, and smart. Now she's taking this too far. She must be hungry. She must want to get out of bed. She's been motionless for days. The crystals tell me it's fine. They're keeping their mother alive and well, and that one day she'll stop being stupid. I surround her with crystals and they cling to her clammy skin. They know what's best. I can only go back to my digging now and let the crystals fix my problems. If they're a flat earther or anti-vaxxer. Or worse, an anti-earther. Flat vaxxer. People who let one characteristic, race, gender, nationality, politics, etc. totally define who they are and how they live their life. Even worse, people who let one characteristic totally define, in their eyes, who you are. Wait, so this whole thread is answer plus pro-life tip. Someone I knew in the military was walking through the galley with their hat on and a chief started to tell at him from behind. He was by no means stupid, but he started mouth breathing while looking at the chief with a vacant expression. At the end he actually got a pat on the shoulder. If someone you don't know is super angry and yelling, just start mouth breathing. Takes all the wind out of them. Tailgating. Being oblivious to their surroundings. Irrational anger. What the frick did you just freaking say about me, you little beach? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills. I am trained in guerrilla warfare and I'm the top sniper in the entire US Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the frick out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth, mark my fricking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fricker. As we speak I am contacting my secret network of spies across the USA and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're freaking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I will use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent. You little sheet. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you, maybe you would have held your fricking tongue. But you couldn't, you didn't, and now you're paying the price, you goddamn idiot. I will sheet fury all over you and you will drown in it. You're freaking dead, kiddo. Being rude to cashiers, waitresses, etc. People who say they have a high IQ, and not like other people and frick society people. People who have to announce how sarcastic they are. Racist. Deleted. Hell, most racists don't even know that they're racist. And when you call them out they usually lose their shit. And then call you a racist. That's pretty much why I personally think they're some of the stupidest people on earth. Deleted. Parents that came from dysfunctional families that continue the same shitty traits their parents practiced. Being a religious fanatic. Most people think that if you have autism you are stupid. People with autism also go to special ed classes more often than kids with no problems, so they are sometimes mocked. Freaking out when someone says they don't want kids. Audibly chewing gum while talking to someone. Doesn't happen often, but when it does I'm just done with you. It's not a tray exactly, but the moment somebody says or writes should've could've. Thanks for watching. I publish new videos every day. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe.